happiness is miserable. Second claim is we don't really know what makes us happy, but we think we do. Two really bad things to go together. So some of you who were here 3 years ago remember this slide. This slide is work by based on research by Danny Kahneman, Tim Wilson, Dan Gilbert, and others. And what it does is it pulls apart what we think correlates with happiness versus what really correlates with happiness. And it's also anchored by things that are more glamorous versus mundane. So the way to read this chart is, on this left side, it matters less than you think. So most people think that intelligence or beauty or youth actually correlates with happiness, but it does far less than people think. And again, this makes sense, right? So you get your undergrad, and you're so happy for 3 days. And then you watch your graduate degree. And then you get your graduate degree, and you were so happy for 3 days. And then you want to get a PhD. And then you get your PhD, and you were so happy, but you really want that good job, right? And so it keeps going on and on until you're in the left tail of that bell curve, way over here, until you've got a totally distorted perspective of where you are and what it takes to get happy. Youth, one of the most robust findings, work done by Laura Carstensen and her colleagues here out of Stanford, shows that as individuals get older, they get more happy. Now, work that I do with Sepp Kanvar and also Cassie McGildner shows that the type of happiness also changes over the life course, and I'll get to that later. The research is very mixed, but in general, there is a threshold over which more money doesn't bring greater happiness, and you've seen this research. Some people say it's $40,000 a year. In California, it's $100,000, so y'all have much more to go, or move out of the state, either one. But there's thresholds, and again, there's a decreasing return on that incremental dollar. But the thing I wanted to focus on here today is that right-hand quadrant in the mundane matters more than you think space. And I'd like to talk, and free time, again, isn't you got fired, you have a lot of free time. It's the perception that you can control your time. So again, it's not, can you control your time? It's the perception that you can control your time, which is why academics is so great. But what I wanted to harp on is volunteering. Now, volunteering is pretty interesting. First of all, it's a bad brand name. We're working to change this name. Obama, I think, has done a good job in making small dent in this area of valuing service, and will probably, hopefully, continue on. But one of the things that's most robust in this research is that people who give time and money report greater well-being and happiness, and those who have greater well-being and happiness report giving more time and money. So it's a bidirectional relationship which feeds on itself, right? So you're more giving to others, you're happier, vice versa. Now, this is a pretty robust finding, and you've probably seen it, but what's so interesting is the research. So this is some work done by Mike Norton out of Harvard and some of his colleagues, and what they do is they create 4 conditions, and so you guys are gonna be in the first condition. You're gonna get all $5 today, not really, so don't get excited, but pretend that you got $5, and I'm gonna ask you to spend it on something personal. So you're probably gonna spend it on some expense or some gift for yourself, so just, you're gonna be personal. You're gonna spend it on something pro-social, so something for someone else. You could, again, give it to charity, give it to a friend, buy a Starbucks gift certificate, it's not specified. You're gonna get the same conditions, but I'm gonna give you $20 each. And now I'm gonna ask you, which condition do you think will make you happier? So how many people think the $5 personal spend will make you happiest? $5 pro-social spend? $20 personal? $20 pro-social? You're all wrong. That's awesome. So what happens here is that everyone thinks that the $20, I can spend it on myself if I want, will make them the happiest. And again, it's not just this one experiment. There's a lot of experiments to back this up. Now, everyone assumes 20 is better than 5, so this group is clearly going to be happier than this group. And they do think that the personal spend is going to make them happier than the pro-social spend when I'm forcing you to spend it on someone else. Now these researchers do another study, and what they do is they create 4 conditions, and now they actually give you $5, $5, 20, 20, and then they say the next day, how happy are you? And they find time 1 versus time 2, so I'm gonna measure all of you before I give you the money and then after I give you the money, and the way to read this graph is on the left-hand side is the $5. The yellow bars are not significantly different than zeros. These are individuals that were asked to spend money on themselves, and they got a little bit less happy. So it's not significant, so don't read into it. What's much more important is that what was significant are the two conditions, and it didn't matter if you got $20 or if you got $5. The people in the give this to someone else condition reported being happier 2 days later. And again, this is the same subject pool that came, not the same people, but the same subject pool that came and just in the prior experiment said that that's not what would actually make me happy. And there's a lot of empirical evidence to suggest that what we think brings us happiness does not in fact.